Hello, everyone. Welcome to CXO Spice. CXO Spice is a platform for thought leaders to share their point of view on innovation and explain how to make it happen in the real world. And I'm your host, Helen Yu. Today's topic is CDW plus IBM Meet Bob. Our special guest is Christina Adames, AI Practice Strategy Lead at CDW. Hello, Christina. Welcome to CXO Spice. So great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, Helen. Happy to talk to you and our audience about IBM Bob and just where software development is going with AI.
Me too. Before we dive into this exciting topic, Christina, why don't you introduce yourself and your role in the CDW IBM partnership?
Sure. So once again, I'm an AI strategist with CDW's IBM practice. I'm helping customers figure out how AI can create real business value, not just what is technically possible, but what's actually worth doing. So my background is in innovation, design, and enterprise AI strategy. I spend a lot of time connecting business leaders with technical teams, and I love helping organizations move from AI sounds interesting to how can we actually use it and get value from it. Today, I'm excited to talk about Bob because it's much bigger than just a coding assistant, which is what I want to drive home with people. It's more about helping organizations modernize their software, go faster, preserve institutional knowledge, and help organizations move from uh, let's actually get into the weeds of where we can find ROI and improve the development lifecycle.
That's awesome, Christina. I spent a lot of time with Bob at IBM Think recently, and I can't wait to hear your perspective on what you have learned or you're learning. So, what are you hearing from customers about agentic deployment or development partners like Bob, and where do you see the greatest benefits? And how is CDW helping to shape this conversation?
A lot of the times I get called into customer inquiries about how can we code faster? And that's a great question, right? I think they're already realizing that AI can help in that space, but it's more than just coding faster, I think. If customers can realize that, yes, we can code faster, and there's a variety of tools that can do that today, but
Mhm.
that's really where I think the conversation should end and where I'm finding it doesn't end there. It's about hearing where are the biggest problems that we're trying to solve in the business, such as aging applications, experienced developers are retiring, and there's this pressure to modernize without breaking any critical systems. And so, obviously, something that's just going to help you code faster won't solve those business problems alone. While AI can help generate code, explain it, it can also generate documentation, recommend improvements, help with the testing, and make it easier for newer developers to contribute as they onboard with our developers who are aging out. So speed isn't just the focus now. I think customers should be looking at the full story. There's a bigger benefit. There's a place where we can improve our confidence in AI solutions. And organizations are wanting to move faster without increasing risk. That's exactly where I think Bob is going to shine.
I love that, right? The mix of speed and skills and also the extended capability, right? We talk about problem-solving skills, and that only hold up if the underlying architecture is built to deliver on that.
That's
And
right.
Bob's architecture is a big part of that story. So Bob is built on a multi-model approach with IBM's Granite, along with other leading models. How does that architecture change the experience for developer and the business?
Yeah, I think if you're already in AI, you kind of understand that one model isn't going to solve all of your problems and that getting locked into one model can be very costly. Uh, Business leaders must understand that a multi-model approach is going to help you be more efficient as well as reduce token consumption. Some of you watching this might be realizing you're getting large bills for what your developers are consuming in tokens and wondering if it's worth it. So that's where I think Bob is really positioned to shine. There isn't one AI model, right? That's best at everything. So Some are going to reason better, some are better at coding, and others are going to be more cost effective. What Bob is going to do is automatically select the best frontier model for the job and task that you are trying to accomplish. And you'll get better results with that because it's going to choose the best model for the task. You'll get lower token costs and better flexibility. You're not going to be locked in. For instance, if you choose to go with one frontier model directly, only using them, and trying to explain the costs around that.
I actually had that hands-on for like firsthand experience at Sync, right? I'm quite aligned with your observation. Choosing the right model for the job is one thing, and extending Bob to handle the languages that still run on business, that's another. And then Bob, I learned that is very extensible through premium packs, right?
Yes.
Have your customers seen any enhanced benefit? For example, when working with COBOL, RPG, or PLI, and what hurdles are they overcoming when these are added?
Yeah, so we have some customers that are eager to get on the premium package with IBM Bob because, especially for IBMI development teams, they're working with RPG code and they may not even have a GitHub repository approach. They may need to access this code directly. Some developers, even newer ones, are working off of green screen. So if you know what that's like, that's a very interesting experience. Bob has both. I'm going to get a little technical here for some of you business leaders. There's an IDE user end user experience, which is what a lot of developers are getting more used to. But then there's also a command line experience. So that's called Bob Shell, and they can work with the code, where you see all the words and code across the screen, and it's not very pretty, but it's a lot more efficient for some people. So yeah, I was at Think, and serendipitously, I was ended up at a round table with one of our customers who was singing praises about Bob. They tried all these other coding assistant tools, and Bob was the only one that provided the most accurate response to RPG codes that they required. And they were able to reduce the time to understanding and creating new code for their teams significantly. So they were just blown away by the capabilities. And yeah, I think also because Bob works deterministically, which means not everything that Bob does for your legacy code is going to require some sort of generative token consumption task. So built into Bob itself is the understanding and AI capabilities around legacy code. That's going to save huge for a lot of teams.
That's very important point there, right? Those premium packs matter, but if organizations know how to get started with Bob and realize value quickly, is super important. So once a customer decides to move forward, Christina, what does the journey look like from the first conversation to developers realizing value? And where do you see Bob helping organizations accelerate time to value?
Yeah, as an AI strategist, I like to just go back to basics, starting with understanding the business problem. We're all very smart people. We work in technology and we tend to over-index on the technology in our conversations. So you need people that are going to have a strategic mindset and say, hey, what business problem are we actually solving? In this case, we may ask, where is development slowing you down?
Mhm.
What's hardest to maintain? Where's technical debt creating risk? From there, we like to help customers identify a good pilot to start with, validate the value with that pilot, and then expand from there. You can take it to more departments or use cases for your team. I like to call it speed with rigor, right? You want to move fast, but you also want to be very intentional about what you're doing. And so Bob really allows us to do that because it's not going to just generate code faster, but help you create value across the entire journey. So I'm excited to where teams are going to go beyond just understanding their code and creating code, but actually planning, testing, scaling, and continuing to deploy code in really impactful ways for the business. They can understand the applications, the documents, document what they're finding, test everything, and again, move on into the modernization for the business. And this is going to shorten time between whatever ideas they have to realizing value.
I love that. Speed with the rigor. So I'm going to start quoting that. So the time to value story becomes even more compelling when you can point to our hard numbers. And CDW has shared results like modernizing its own Java code base nearly 90% faster than using IBM technology. How do you translate productivity gains like that into a business case that resonate with CIOs and CFOs, especially around cost savings, developer productivity, and ROI?
Yeah, I like to think a little forward on this because productivity perks up the ears of all of our executives, and that's right and will always be that way. But for me, I like the conversation where it talks about capacity because now developers can spend less time searching through documentation, trying to understand legacy code
Mhm.
and doing repetitive work, but instead spend more time helping solve business problems. It's really about developer effectiveness. And to me, that's where the real value we're going to see in the coming days, because we're going to see not just faster delivery, but better quality, lower maintenance costs, reduced risks. And I think here at CDW, these are the kind of benefits we ourselves are looking at. This is what we're trying to help customers measure and determine, what platforms and tools and processes they should go after. And this common thread is really about taking this talented group of employees and people, spending more time doing work that only people can do, and letting the AI kind of help with the rest.
I love that you not only talk about customer value, you also focus on developers' growth, right? So thank you for having such a longer term view. That kind of like proof point is worth looking ahead to where the partnership goes next. So where do you see the biggest opportunity for CDW and IBM to help customers modernize faster, reduce costs, and simplify developer experience through the technology transformation?
I think it's important that we all take a look at software development, the entire life cycle, where it's been, how it has progressed, where we are now, and thinking about where things are going because of AI. So again, not looking at just increasing productivity, maybe in the big elephant in the room is replacing developers, but it's changing what developers do to spend their time doing. I think of this example of IKEA, if you've seen this story circulating, that installed this customer care AI agent, and it became so efficient at solving customer problems online that a lot of their staff didn't have anything left to do. And so what they did is completely changed some of their approach and trained that staff on how to help customers with interior design. Because they
Mhm.
found out that once customers got their problem solved, they still wanted help designing their home. And that increased their business exponentially. I don't even remember the numbers. And I think the same is going to apply in this world, right? Where how can we leverage the intelligence and human capability of our software development teams and departments and whatever else we're doing in IT? And AI may replace some of the things that we're doing that made us productive or we thought was valuable, but AI can only take things so far, and the rest is up to us. So I think that's where things are going. Look at the entire software development lifecycle. Look at where agentic AI is going. There's going to be an AI development lifecycle that software is going to come alongside. It's going to contribute to it, it's going to pull from it, and vice versa. It's going to diverge and converge. So look at your company, think about new ways of operating, think about your operating model and new ways of building business or making money or making your customers happy because of what AI can do for your business. I think that's where things are going. And at CDW, we're helping customers think through that. We're helping them think about innovating for the future, preparing an environment where they can scale, but also looking at the here and now where they can either find cost savings or improve productivity at the same time.
Yeah, that mindset is so important. and also practical, right? Thank you for really sharing your wisdom and practical advice with us, Christina. Let's bring it back to what matters most for leaders listening today. So here are 4 key takeaways from our conversation today. Number 1, agentic development is already changing the cost, speed, and skills equation. Customers are turning to partners like Bob, not just for novelty, but for measurable gains in developer speed, access to specialized skills, and lower costs, right? Lower token costs. And CDW, thank you for CDW for helping shape how the conversation gets framed. And thanks for also focusing on solving the real business problems rather than just technical issues. Number 2, the right model for the right job matters as much as the model itself. And Bob's multi-model architecture, anchored by IBM's Granite alongside other leading models, gives developer business lower token costs, better fit output rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. I love your approach talking about speed with the rigor. It's very important to really have that balanced point of view. Number 3 is modernization spans both new code and legacy code, but most importantly, how you solve business challenge. Premium packs we talked about, the COBOL, RPG, and PLI extend Bob's value into the system that still run much of the enterprise, helping organizations modernize without leaving critical workloads behind. I love the example you talked about, really extending developers' capability and effectiveness is not just about productivity gain. However, the last point here is the proof point you talk about, turn productivity gains into business case. CDW's own result, including modernizing Java codebase nearly 90% faster, show how developer productivity gains can be translated into ROI story that resonates with both CIOs and CFOs. Your story about IKEA, it was profound, right? It resonated with all of us. At the end of the day, technology needs to serve the humanity, and it defeats the purpose if it only gains the profitability for a corporation. So I'm glad to hear the partnership between CDW and IBM serves both customers as well as employee experience.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you so much, Christina, for such a grounded and practical conversation. Your perspective on how CDW IBM helping customer modernize faster, reduce costs, and simplify developer experience is exactly the kind of clarity that technical and business leaders need today. And we're grateful that you brought that to CXO Spice today.
Happy to do so. And feel free to reach out anytime. Happy to talk about these topics in the future.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Stay hungry, stay bold, and stay grateful.